Hello and welcome to the new series of Drishti IAS. I am Pooja, and in this segment we are going to analyze what is the actual reason behind a crisis which is impending due to the halting of the Nord Stream pipeline 1 by Russia. Now Russia is saying that it has halted the Nord Stream 1 pipeline because it is getting repaired, and many countries from Europe, especially the largest economy of Europe, that is Germany, is seeing that this might be a chance to weaponize the energy dependence that Germany has on Russia by Nord Stream pipeline once halting. So what is this? Let us look at the different points of discussion that we are going to cover. These are the many points that we are going to cover. And as we made certain changes in news with respect to what is important from the perspective of prelims, what is the prelims focus, what is the mains focus, we have to make sure that we cover all these. Specifically, if there are certain gaps, you have to fill that. That is your homework. Okay. So geography of Germany and Japan, this is important from the perspective of mapping basis, and Nord Stream 1 pipeline plus the second one. Then we will also in brief talk about natural gas, because this is the commodity. The gas is the commodity that is transferred with the help of the Nord Stream 1 pipeline. Okay, and top producers of natural gas will also be looked at, because we also have to ensure that alternatives are covered under whatever the European countries are looking, or whatever options the European countries have now after the halting of the first pipeline. Okay, and from the perspective of GS Mains paper 2, the impacts are important, and you can see under international relations we have effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interests. Then GS Mains paper 3, infrastructure, because energy is the one thing that we are going to discuss in detail over here, as in what will be the impact of such politics, such geopolitical scenario on overall impact on the world, plus what is the status of India with respect to importing of energy from Russia. So what is the Nord Stream 1 gas link? Why it's shut down has Europe on edge. Now, because European countries are heavily dependent on Russia, even after sanctions, they are still dependent on Russia for their gas supplies, crude oil supplies, and this has made it very chronic. This has made it very chronic for European countries to look out for other ventures where they can go in for getting their crude oil and natural gas. So that is why we are going to discuss that. Now, first of all, keeping in mind the geographical scenario, this is the country of Germany, having borders with Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, France, Switzerland, Austria, Czech Republic, Poland, and Denmark as well. And this is the Baltic Sea through which the pipeline passes through, and it goes to Russia. Here it is actually St. Petersburg over here, but it doesn't go to St. Petersburg, but Greifswald to Russia. We will talk about the Streamline Pipeline 1 and Nord Stream Pipeline 1 and 2 as well, where they are connecting from Greifswald. Okay, and even Sweden and Finland, these are the certain countries which are dependent on the gas supplies through the subsea pipeline, the longest subsea pipeline, that is the Nord Stream Pipeline 1. Okay, so that is why this region is important from the perspective of mapping. What is Nord Stream 1 pipeline? Now, this is the longest subsea pipeline in the world, has a length of 1224 kilometers, and its completion was done in 2011. It joins Vyborg in Leningrad of Russia to Lubmin in Greifswald of Germany, and it transports 55 billion cubic meter of natural gas per year. Now, there are certain parts of the pipeline. First is the Russia onshore pipeline, which has been developed by Gazprom, and Gryazovets-Vyborg gas pipeline, which is actually in the Vologda Oblast. This pipeline is operated solely by Gazprom. Okay, and it supplies gas to the northwestern region of Russia itself, plus that is of course the St. Petersburg and Leningrad Oblast, and a branch of pipeline in Karelia will connect the feeding pipeline. This is the feeder pipeline with the Finland as well. Okay, so this is very important that we know the parts, how countries are going to get affected, because this is the feeder pipeline, and this is the Nord Stream 1 pipeline, the red one, and this is the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which has been halted as sanctions against Russia. And you see it joins Greifswald to Vyborg in Russia. And because of that, the linking pipeline of Finland will also get impacted by it. Okay, moving on. If we talk about natural gas, now natural gas is actually a fossil fuel, right? And it is developed how? By the compression and high temperature. It causes the carbon bonds in the organic matter to break down, and the molecular breakdown, whatever molecular breakdown, because of these two reasons they occur, it produces thermogenic methane, which is called natural gas. It is made up of carbon and also hydrogen. So these are the certain tidbits for prelims. Also, where are they found? They are found near oil deposits, but they can the purest ones can be found near the deepest deposits. Okay, they're basically, if they are found in the deepest of the deposits, they are pure natural gas. And there are many advantages to the natural gas. First of all, in many countries they are domestically available, so import export cost gets reduced, and it has an established distribution network. Many countries, because of the domestic availability, have made infrastructure very robust so that availability can be done. Relatively low cost, and also it has emission benefits. That means it can save us from the global warming scenario. Moving on, if we talk about the top most countries which have deposits of natural gas, US stands first, then comes Russia, Iran, then China and Qatar, then Canada, Australia, Saudi Arabia, Norway and Algeria. This is the latest data, you can say, not graph. So if we talk about the other parts of the Nord Stream pipeline 1, we also have the Baltic Sea offshore pipeline and the Western European pipelines. Now it is made up of two transmission pipelines in Germany, and the Western pipeline, it runs from Greifswald in Germany to Aachen, and here it will be connected with the Rheden-Hamburg gas pipeline, through which United Kingdom also gets its gas. So you see how it is all interconnected, and that is why European Union is not very happy. Now if we talk about Nord Stream second pipeline, this has its own sanctions into picture because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, joining Greifswald to Ust-Luga. Now if it could have been completed, then 110 cubic meters of, here it was 55 billion cubic meters. So if it would have been completed, then 110 billion cubic meters of gas could have been supplied from Russia to Europe. Okay, moving on, if we talk about the next thing, that is of course Europe's energy dependence on Russia. Now Europe is heavily dependent on its energy with respect to Russia's supply, and you see 155 billion cubic meters of natural gas from Russia in 2021 was imported by the European Union, and 40% of the European Union's total gas consumption is this particular amount, and dependency is rising to 65% in Germany, and Germany is very scared by this particular move of halting the Nord Stream pipeline second. Now after the invasion of Ukraine, you will think that sanctions were there, and Europe might have, lessened its dependence on Russia with respect to the gas supply. But no, Russia has exported basically 63 billion euros worth of fossil fuel. That also includes crude oil and everything else. But European Union is responsible for buying 71% of the energy that has been exported by Russia. Germany, Italy and Netherlands, these are the three countries which are the biggest consumers in terms of absolute numbers. Okay, so these were the certain things that we had to make clear with respect to Europe's dependence on Russia for energy. Now the countries as of 2019 that we are seeing are heavily dependent on Russia for their energy. Bosnia and Herzegovina, Finland, North Macedonia, Moldova, these are 100% dependent. Then come Latvia, 93%, Serbia, 89%, Bulgaria, that comes to 79%, Estonia, 79% again, and Austria is at 64, Hungary is at 61. So this is the graph that is showing you the energy dependence. Now after sanctions came into being in the month of May, June, what happened? That it is still not operational, but Europe wanted to phase out the dependence it has for energy on Russia, and phasing out is very slow in nature. It couldn't cut off the supplies all of a sudden, of course, and crude oil and refined petroleum products are one of the products that are in the sanctions list. With limited exceptions, this will phase out of 6 to 8 months. This is the time period. And this was this year itself. Coal and other solid fossil fuels, as there is a wind down period for existing contracts, the sanctions will be coming into picture from August 2022. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that any country, if it wants to impose sanctions, especially in case of energy, it wouldn't come all of a sudden. It will take certain time, because we suppose we are European Union, we also have to ensure that our energy supply does not cause any disruption in the energy supply of our country, first of all, and it does not cause any distortion for the consumers, right? And alternatives are that many countries of the European Union are looking towards the United States, because as it is the topmost country with respect to natural gas deposits. So many countries of European Union are already dependent on US for liquefied natural gas, and it comes via ships. Now, if these countries, they tend to get natural gas from ships again, what will happen? That the per unit cost will increase, and that is not good for the European Union. Now, non-Russian pipeline gas from Norway and Azerbaijan, this is also being looked at as an alternative. Energy crisis is already there since the, you can say, since 2021, since 2020-2021, when there have been instances of countries switching from fossil fuels to cleaner energy. What has happened? Many countries, especially Germany, closed its coal deposit mines. So what happens? That when they did so, shutting down, it actually contributed to the adding off on the cost for the coal that is already present. So energy crisis is already going on, and this will of course impact that area as well. Now, Germany's parliament on Friday passed emergency legislation to reopen their old coal plants and mines for electricity production, and they want to ensure that each and every coal mine that is not very sustainable for the environment, it is closed by 2030, Germany, but it is not able to do so because of the current situation, and of course it will have an an irreversible impact in the coming years for climate change. What are the alternatives? Other alternatives? Now, the Canadian government has announced, despite its sanctions, it has circumvented its own sanctions on Russia by saying that they would return a repaired Russian gas turbine to Germany that is required for the Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline. Now, Ukraine is not very happy with it. It is saying already you have sanctions into place. How can you surpass that? And it has said that there is a condition. Canada has said that there is a condition, that time limited, and it is a revocable permit. That means it can be, halted. This permit can be halted anytime, and it will allow the return of the key components. That will allow the return of the key components so that the Nord Stream 1 pipeline can occur again. Now, the basic thing here is that if Russia is getting its economy boosted with the help of its energy reserves, this will help in elongating of the war, because all its military expenditure will be dependent on that only. With respect to India imported 1.8 million tons of thermal coal. This is not with respect to only natural gas but other energies as well. Thermal coal from Russia in 2021. This has come down from 2.5 million in 2020. Russia's, of course, this has many reasons, but Russia's share in India's thermal coal import, it fell to 1.3% in 2021 from 1.6%. Also, India wants to ensure that India has to, first of all, take care of its forex reserves. Secondly, India wants to, transition from the fossil fuels to cleaner energy. India imported 43,400 BPD oil from Russia in 2021. And about 1% of its overall import, that is. And India accounts for about 0.2% of Russia's natural gas exports, 0.2% only. Now, GAIL Limited, it has a 20-year deal with Gazprom to buy 2.5 million tons of LNG a year, which started in 2018. And if we talk about post-invasion, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, about 7.5% of India's fuel needs, crude oil, coal, natural gas, etc., was sourced from Russia in April 2022. So it's full of data. These data are very important, the set of data. Okay, so you see, this is what India imports in terms of not only natural gas or oil, but it is a mix of everything. So from Iraq, we see fiscal year 23, this is of course tentative, fiscal year 22, 21, 20, 19 and 18, it is all in the green zone. with respect to Russia, although we are going, negative over these years in fiscal year 22, 21, 20, 2019 and 18, but with respect to 23, it is being seen that India might, rely heavily on Russia with respect to its energy needs. Then what are the impacts that are intended? That is being, you can say it is being speculated that the halting of the pipeline is kind of a weaponization done by Russia. If Russia succeeds in, throwing European Union into a jiffy with respect to energy, then it can use this dependence as a weapon. Also, Ukraine is unhappy, saying that Canada should take its decision of, repairing and returning the turbine back. Also, it could happen that if European Union is increasingly depending on a country like Russia with respect to its energy needs, then it will of course feed a lot of money into the pockets of the Russian administration, and then elongation of war can happen because Ukraine is already getting its arms from the Western countries. An arms race, of course, this can go for a long period of time, and it will have an impact on climate as well. If countries are not able to transition to clean energy, then of course impact on climate will be there, because energy will be sourced from coal, oil and natural gas. Of course, natural gas has better emission benefits, but if natural gas is halted, then other fossil fuels will come into the picture. Now let us look at the question. Explain how the energy necessities of Europe is contributing to the elongation of Russia-Ukraine war in 250 words. Okay, so that's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.